What's going on, party people? Happy Tuesday, June 1st. Here we are, staring down the second half of the year. I know we got about 30 days before we're technically at the halfway mark, but I'll let y'all pop on and say hello. We got some exciting things to go over today, so let me know where you're coming in from. What's up? D. Hutcherson in the house. Good to see you. What's going on, Bryant? Facebook user, and the rest of you friends. If you've been here before, you probably know the drill. If you're new, no worries. Head to StreamYard.com/Facebook. If you're coming to us from Facebook, and then go ahead and just authorize StreamYard. That'll allow us to see your friendly face next to your pictures and things. What's up, Rhonda? We got Rhonda coming in from YouTube, Lore over in Facebook. Tia, what's up, my girl? Tia's here, always hustling. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. We're going to let some people pop on here today, and then we're going to get rolling because I want to save some time for Q&A. These Tuesdays are intended for kind of like, technical Tuesday, getting your questions answered regarding snaps, and all things website builds and technical. Obviously happy to tackle any sort of questions that you got, but that's kind of usually the focus here of Tuesdays. And yes, Nick, if it's Tuesday and you're here, you're in the right spot. So, we do some training usually on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. These Tuesdays are specific snaps calls. And so the technical build outside of this business and meant to be a resource for any of you guys that are coming on and using the platform, with a lot of us in the kind of business that we run, a digital marketing, lead generation business, maybe an agency type business or SEO, serving local business owners. There's really just a couple of key skills that you have to know that you really need to get incredible at to make a really successful business. And those things usually come down to your ability to generate traffic or create inventory. A lot of times we call it shoes on the shelf. If you're selling shoes, you got to have shoes on the shelf to be able to sell those shoes. And so for us, that usually comes to publishing websites that we own, or knowing how to work on the websites for our clients, whether it's building a new site for a client, rebuilding an old one, optimizing an existing site, and then obviously building assets that we own. So that's one of the key skills, which that's really what all like Tuesdays are about, that like getting shoes on the shelf, getting inventory, all the technical stuff that you need to know to get that built. And then the second side of that is going out and getting clients, sales. How do you prospect? How do you find a client out there that could use your services? Because the skills that we learn in that first step, that first skill, are really valuable to business owners. I mean, you get really good at this, and business owners will pay you a lot of money to build websites for them, to generate traffic for them, to generate leads for them. Because really, ultimately, they want to focus on what they do. Maybe that's cleaning carpets, or putting on roofs, or laying cement driveways, or hauling away junk, or pest removal, pool cleaning, pool building, drywall, epoxy floor, you name it. Party bus rentals. The list goes on and on and on. They want to focus on their craft, and they want to leave you to the kind of the professional stuff. What's going on, Matt? How's it going? Jarrett's in the house. If you didn't get a chance to see the live I did with Jarrett this last week on Thursday, it was pretty incredible. Jarrett's one, I think, who's very meticulous with his process, and he's a slayer when it comes to sales too. Relatively new to this particular game, but in the last year and a half has generated a pretty significant income from his agency business. I've got goals. I like it. I like it. I think Devin Hutcherson's bringing out the songs here. He had made a post earlier this last week that I immediately heard the song in my head when he made the post, and so I did the same thing. So I appreciate that. Very cool. I'm actually, oh yeah, Michelle, I think I saw that before. Yep. If you're using Nick's account, we're going to call you Nick. You should get your own account. Anyways, yeah, glad to hear Pretty and the rest of you guys that you found that helpful. Well, I'm going to kick things off with a bang and just go straight into some giveaways. We're going to kind of do this at random, but at the same time, I want to reward those that I'm seeing are out there taking action, especially as we lead into the summer months. And I've been noticing it's really interesting. Like as you get into these summer months, like, hey, there's going to be some people who are kind of like leaning in and really pushing things forward. And then others who are kind of letting off the gas, right? A little bit. And I think we've all heard the name Ryan Leonard as of late. Ryan is one who has been pushing in pretty hard, recently hit Century Club and more than doubled up on it. So I'm going to make a note of this here. So Ryan, we're going to give you something called cheat codes. In fact, I'm going to give you the whole shebang. So we've got some really cool training. Let me see if I can find this in here. Give me one sec. I should have pulled this up before I started. But cheat codes is kind of this library of training from some of the best marketers out there. Got a guy named Brad, who's one of the best copywriters that I've ever seen, who's got 10 different kind of sequential lessons just on like, hey, how do you write really compelling copy when you are, putting together a site for yourself or a client, whatever. And he gives you his framework for, what it is to create copy, which is a cheat code. This training can be kind of a cheat code. These lives can be a cheat code where, if you're, talking to a business owner out in your regular kind of everyday, prospecting, and they run by something by you that they need done in their business, but maybe you don't necessarily know how to do just yet. Well, you've got 7,000 plus entrepreneurs, agency owners, professionals that have been doing this a long time that you can come onto these lives and be like, yeah, you know what? I don't have an answer for you right now, but I'm going to come back to you on Wednesday. Let me bring this by my partners. I've got some ideas, but I want to run it by them first, and then I'll get back to you with an answer. This group can be a cheat code where, hey, you can like post your questions here. You can come on the live, get some ideas, tap into the mastermind, this idea of like all of our minds together, the mastermind. That can be a cheat code, but there's a lot of really cool cheat codes here and I'm just going to pull this up, show you guys kind of behind the scenes of what cheat codes look like. It's not even something that we sell anymore. So I'm going to find that later, but it was something that we had released. There's a handful of people that got access to it, that loved it, that put it into place. There's things on there talking about how you can fractionalize leads and monetize leads multiple times over. There's hacks for things and cheat codes for things like, your Google Maps listings. There's copy hacks, you name it. So yeah, Ryan Leonard. And I'm also going to give that to Maud. Maud is on there. I noticed that she has been, in fact, I think she just got engaged. So congratulations, Maud, if you're on here on the live with us today. But I did notice, she's been publishing a lot more lately too. And so we're going to give those two cheat codes. And we'll probably do some more giveaways throughout the live here tonight, but just recognizing, some activity as you guys are pushing forward here. I want to reward that because, sometimes you're doing the work, today, this week, next month, you're not seeing necessarily that immediate result. But like Jarrett talked about, and I think one of the questions I asked him was like, hey man, how did you know that every month you were going to publish a certain amount of new sites? His first site he published was a tourism site, like in February of 2020, right before COVID hits. And then all of a sudden it's March and there's a lockdown and like tourism is not a thing that's happening. But rather than like give up or take that site down, he kept pressing forward, with his plan. And, he had enough kind of wherewithal and faith to push forward on that. So I respect that when I see that. And I see a lot of you doing that here. So give me just a second. I'm going to do one more giveaway where I'm going to do, let's see who the most recent published site was. I'm going to see who published the last site on Snaps. And it looks like, all right, that would be Joshua at Idea Machine Marketing. Okay, cool. So I'm going to write that down too. All right, Joshua at Idea Machine Marketing. You are also getting access to cheat codes. And that's just because, again, it looks like at literally like right when we started this live, he published a new site. So I want to reward those that are taking action and pushing forward. And we are going to get rolling. Let me scroll here through the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. And then I want to get into some specific goals stuff. So while I'm scrolling through the comments, I want you to tell me in the comments, how many new sites did you publish in the month of May? How many new sites? And these could include sites for your clients. So if you did a website build for someone else, I'll count that. Sites that you own for yourself. How many new sites did you publish in the month of May? Go ahead and drop that in the comments for me. And then I'm going to scroll through, make sure I didn't miss any questions here. I believe Michelle was asking, what is Century Club? I know a handful in the chat answered that for you. But yeah, Century Club just means that you've got 100 published sites, 100 assets, kind of 100 sets of shoes on the shelf, right? Where the reason why we kind of have that as a focus, it ends up being a lot of people's kind of goal. The first goal for a lot of people, a lot of times is, in their own business to make 6 figures, make 10 grand a month, obviously a little more than 6 figures, but to make 10 grand a month for most people, 10 grand a month in their own business would be an absolute game changer. Shoot, for some of us, an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month, especially if that's net profit, which we run a really high profit business here with lead generation. That's a game changer. But 10K is usually a big mark. And then the next big mark is usually to be kind of like that digital landlord, someone that owns a lot of assets out there on the internet. And if you have 100 published sites, it takes a little bit of time, might take 30, 60, 90 days to get some of these things ranked, start getting them to get some traffic. And with 100 out there, you should at least have 20, 30, 40 of them that pop off that you can go out and get rented. You're probably not going to hit 100%, but at some point you will. At some point you should be able to get value out of every single site that you have. Back to Jarrett's example, he had that tourism site that sat, I think, vacant for like 18 months. He said, and now as things are starting to pick up, well, now that site is starting to become valuable. So at some point they all will. But once you hit 100, usually now you've got a pretty wide net and a solid business. And, to run 100 sites, shouldn't cost you more than about $1,000 a month in terms of some upfront cost of doing business. Maybe you have, a few extra bucks here and there for some tracking phone numbers and some other software and things that you're using to run that business. So now you've got 100 digital assets out there that you own for, less than $2K a month in cost of doing business. So you could literally have 1 or 2 clients that cover your investment back into your business. And now the rest of that is gravy, is profit, right? So let's see where people are at. Okay. All right. So I'm looking through some of these numbers. I'm not going to lie. I think we might need to up it on some of these. So we got Robin says 4 or 5. That's awesome. Cody says 10 plus. How much plus? Let me know. Okay. So you did 10 plus. Do you should know how many sites you did, but that's freaking awesome. Let's get north of 10. I love it. We have a group right now that's going through kind of like a boot camp hell week that are going to do 10 this week, just so you know. We got somewhere on here that's done 11, 4 or 6 sites. Don't remember if 2 of them were 8. No worries. That's excellent. That's excellent. My goal is Century Club rented. Absolutely. And you can't rent them out if you don't have them built. And you're probably gonna need more than that. I mean, like I said, as you kind of start building, there might be some that use as portfolio sites, some that you use to kind of share as an example, or help to kind of boost some of your other sites, or some that just need to marinate a little bit longer, or some that are maybe in a little more of a competitive niche than you thought at first. It might require a little bit more work, but you can keep pushing. Pushed out 4 new customer sites. Jordan has 10. Nice, Jordan. Way to go. Ethan, 12. Cool. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Just published. Hey, that's awesome. DC just published my first one earlier today. That's a huge milestone to get your very first site published. I think we should all, offer some encouragement to DC. I think that first one is always gonna be the most difficult. Next one's gonna get a little easier. Kind of as you go. So I bring all this up. Let me go down here to make sure I didn't get anything. Somebody has a question that says, hey, my Snap says checking credentials and never signs me in. Hey, by the way, if you're in here in the chat and you we're not seeing your picture, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to authorize StreamYard so we can know who you are. That way our support team can actually reach back out to you after the live here to help out. But I do want to show you something in light of this question. Many of you have seen, as of this last week, we have a whole new way to get help from our support squad. If you look down in the bottom right of the app dashboard here, you have this help button. If you click on this, you will be able to submit a contact request. This basically kind of generates a ticket so we can help you on our support squad. And then if our team is live, if we have a live kind of warm body at the ready answering tickets, this would actually work as a chat too. So you'd be able to chat directly with our support squad right here inside of the app. So I realize that doesn't help you if you can't log in. If you can't log in, you can always email us at support@snaps.ai. So I'm going to throw that up on here real quick too. And we will make sure to get you set up and logged in. If you're having those issues, and if you're running like any sort of VPN or ad blocker or cookie blocker, sometimes can interfere with those logins. So make sure you're resetting those things. Make sure you're using either Chrome or Firefox. Those are kind of our preferred browsers, and we'll be good to go there. Right. Cool. All right. Let's see. We got a couple of questions. So I want to dive into those, and then I want to talk about setting some goals for the month of June, just because, it looks like there's some people are making some good traction here. Landon has 10 more this week. Love it. Absolutely. Let's make sure that we have a goal for what we are going to be doing this month. And then we have to break that all the way down to weekly and daily. And one of the things, I was talking with one of my coaches about this last week was this idea of, okay, hey, we're gonna set some goals. We're gonna do our best to take those goals, break them down to what we need to do today. So let's say we want to, publish 10 new sites this month. Like, okay, what are we gonna have to do this week? Jarrett did a really great job of saying, hey, I'm gonna have to do at least enough research so that I know which sites I'm going to build. So I'm going to do 4 due diligence sheets a day. So I'm going to look in 4 different markets every single day and just kind of run the research, run the numbers to see what I'm going to do there. You're obviously going to have to write some content. You're going to have start obviously laying out the site. By the end of the first week, you should have, 2 or 3 of those sites published so that the next week you can have another 2 to 3 published. So have your end goal in mind. So that's the next thing I'd like to hear is, regardless of what you did last month, in the month of May, tell me how many new sites that are not currently published that you want to publish this month. So in the comments, let me know, hey, my goal for the month of June is X number of new sites published. Because then you're going to make that goal. You're going to have to break that down to what does that mean you have to do on a daily basis. And then from there, pay attention to what gets in the way. Pay attention to, because like life never happens as planned. There might be some where you're able to speed up a little bit. There might be some things like, man, why do I keep running into this issue here? And maybe it is a research issue where you don't know which site to build first. Okay, well, let's tackle that. Or maybe it is more of a technical thing. Man, every time I get into, laying out the content, I'm just really struggling getting the layout lined up and spacing and padding and all that kind of stuff. Like, okay, well, maybe you need to work with some peers and kind of get some help on learning, hey, what are the kind of cheat codes, the shortcuts that they use to quickly lay out a site? Or, maybe it's something that you need to just kind of rely on some of our templates and not spend as much time noodling with so it doesn't get in the way. So let's see. Goal is 5 a month. Love it. Bobby, 11. Thomas, 10 for the month. Susan, goal is 12 sites to hit my 3. Love it. Awesome. See, and Susan's got it down. She even has a quarterly goal, which you're a real player, a real entrepreneur when you're kind of breaking these things out. Like, hey, what do I want to do for the year? I've got a 3-month goal, and then I'm going to break that down for the monthly. because then, yeah, you can kind of adjust as needed. So I think that's great. Goal is 4 for May, but it would be more than that for our agency. It is more. Awesome. Cool. So you know what piece of the pie you're responsible for on your team. I love it. 5 new, 20 sites this week, or this month, 5 each week. I know Dave's always hustling. Goal for June, 14 new domain sites published. I love it. So today's June 1st. You got the whole month in front of you, but don't give it the whole month. Break it down to like, hey, what do you need to do to win today? And then make sure that you're checking in with us and with your peers, with your teams on those goals. Make sure you have somebody that's kind of holding you accountable to that. And let's get after it. The idea of having, a lot of us heard this before, but the idea of having kind of a SMART goal, something that's specific. Okay, I'm going to publish 10 sites. That's time bound. That's the T at the end. So, okay, by the end of the month, it's measurable. Is this something? Yeah, you can measure. You published or you didn't, right? And it's realistic as well too. There are some people that popped in that maybe have different responsibilities than others, that are part of a team or that aren't. So that it's good to know all that. So awesome. Tia says, yeah, I took a beat this month to go hard on some sales training. I know I can make and publish sites. So exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you need to focus on those different pieces of the business. I think, if you look at our business where it's like, okay, we got to go out and get customers and we got to generate some inventory for them to sell. You should always have something going for both of those two things at the same time. And yeah, there he is, Double Century Club with 200, published a 20% success rate, average $1,000. That's still $40K a month if I'm only 20% successful. Too big to fail now. That's exactly it. Once you guys are all in the spot where Ryan's at right now, where literally he's created so much inventory, now he only has to be successful 20% of the time with these numbers to hit his goal of 40K a month. I think we all want to be there. So love it, love it, love it. Cool. Okay. Let me look. I got a couple of questions here and we'll do some Q&A. Happy to answer whatever questions you have on the Snap side. We're going to start here with Dave. Dave says, will the membership beta be back? I'd like to mock up for a potential client. Hey, Dave. Yeah, absolutely. So we have an internal beta going right now on our membership sites. Let me see if I can pull one up here real quick to show you what it looks like. We have two really cool new updates that are coming. Give me a second so I can find the right site that has membership on it so I can show it to you. But yes, we do have membership available. And if you have, one sec, there we go. If you have a specific site that you would like to kind of set up as a membership site and you've got a good use case for us, this is not just a like, hey, yeah, I want to play around with it. It's like, in Dave's instance, hey, I've got a site that I want to mock, or a client I want to mock something up for. Please reach out to our support squad. Let them know that Gabriel mentioned this on the live today on June 1st, and that you would like membership access on this particular site, and then let us know what the site ID is. Give me one sec and we're almost there. Because the way that the membership capabilities is going to work, it's actually going to be at the page level, and you're going to be able to set up membership access the same way that you do with passwords. So right now here, okay, perfect. Yeah, I've got it up here. I'm going to share a different screen. So I just have to remove this one, add a new screen, share. Okay. I know you guys are going to be psyched about this. Just another reason to use Snaps and not someone else, because with any other platform, you're going to have to go out there and pay for membership access or pay for some other third-party platform to use membership access. With Snaps, that's not the case. So I'm here in one of our sites on the platform, our site for AdSling. And if I go over here to pages, and let's say I've got this coming soon page that I want to be locked behind a member wall, I can click on this little settings cog here and go set access. Now this feature is not currently publicly available to everyone. Again, if you want access to this, please reach out to our support squad, submit a ticket, let us know the site ID. The site ID is this little string up here in the URL bar. This letters and numbers up here up top. You can also copy the site ID directly from the dashboard and let us know. But you'd be able to toggle this to members only, and I can go, hey, I'm gonna add membership access to this particular site. All I have to do is click this button. Now we've got membership access for this particular site. You're gonna be able to manage your site members here inside of the platform. So you're going to have a list of members in your site overview for everyone that has signed up for that particular site. You're going to have the sign up form that you're going to be able to edit specifically. So right now, while this is in beta, this is only working with like a Google login. So people aren't setting up usernames and passwords just yet, but they would be managing that through like a Google authentication. And then the last thing over here is you've got this pending page. So, once someone basically requests to join your membership site, that would come into your queue as a notification, and you would allow them in or not allow them in. And then all you have to do from there, you're just building your website like you would anywhere else, but you're just setting different levels of access. So if you want to say, okay, yeah, this Danta 2020 is a members only page, I'm going to set this to members only versus no, the whole world can see this. That's totally fine. So, in effect, you could create a separate page that is a members only page. Maybe that's, and then that has all the links to all your membership pages. Like if I were to do it, I would probably do something like this where I go new page. I would create a non-clickable menu using the folder, call it members only. I would add that here, and then I would take all my members only content and drop it, into that folder, right? And then set the access accordingly. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna set access here to members only on these particular pages. So hopefully you guys get psyched about that. So Dave, hit us up in our support chat. Or submit a ticket, let us know the site ID, and we're happy to let you test that and mock that up for a potential client. Cool. Can we review the quick questions being asked or in the chat? Not sure what you mean by that, but if you can clarify, happy to move forward on or answer that question for you. Susan says, I've used the chat. Very impressed. Thank you for adding this. Yeah, absolutely. Find it helpful. And it's helped us stay a lot more organized as Snaps has grown. We've got close to 6,000 sites published on the platform now and growing. We've gone into multiple training groups. We're international. We've got a lot of people that are building on the platform. We're growing as aggressively as we can. And what that means is we get to pour more back into support, development, integrations, applications, those kind of things. So especially for those of you that are out there, selling your clients on Snaps, let them know there's a lot of people that are using this platform, and there's a lot of support for them and yourself, obviously. So Gene says, Gabriel, I'm looking at getting my new sites on Snaps. Where do I get info on the costs? Yeah, really simple. It is right inside the app. So if I go to, let me see here again real quick. I'm going to pop up a different screen over here. All you would have to do is log in and go to your settings over here. So if I'm in my dashboard and go to settings and subscriptions, yours is going to look a little bit different because this came over from our beta plan or our beta dashboard, this particular account. You should see a button here that says select plan. And all you would have to do is click select plan. And then you would go ahead and see the plans that are available. starting with our starter pack, which is, you can publish up to 5 sites with the starter pack. And then it goes up from there, 10 sites, 25 sites, 50 sites, 100 sites, depending upon how many sites you need published. Now, those sites would include any site published on your account. So if you're running an agency, my recommendation to you, if you have clients and you have their sites on, that you're building for them or working on with, for them, I would recommend that you cover the hosting on your account. You're going to get those tiered discounts as you go up in plan. And then you would just invoice your client, for your monthly fee, for which would include the hosting, right, that you're paying to Snaps for their site, for your services, those kind of things. Now, if a client, one of the top 10 reasons why Snaps is so great. In fact, we did a training a couple weeks ago. Let me see if I can find that real quick. That was really about kind of top 10 reasons why to choose Snaps over the rest. And yeah, it was right here.
Matt, Mick, Henry, Andrew.
Okay, I'm going to pull this this link right here, which this is over on our YouTube channel. One of the reasons why, it's top 10 reasons why Snaps is better than the rest. So if you just Google, top 10 reasons why Snaps is better, I'm sure you'll find it, but someone can drop the link to this in the chat. That would be super helpful. One of the things is Snap sites are portable. So if you go in there, Gene, and you set up, this, an agency light pack, and you've got 25 sites on there, you built a site for a client and they want to take that with them, we can actually enable a single site license, meaning, they're just paying for a single site to be hosted as opposed to 5 or 25 or whatever. And we can transfer ownership to them. That's just $19 a month. It's a month-to-month deal, for a single site, which is really intended for your clients and those that only have a single site. The rest of our plans are really geared towards, digital marketers, agency owners, entrepreneurs, those that are looking to build in bulk. Great question. Okay. If I missed your question, go ahead and repost it. I'm going to scroll down here and see what else we got. All right. Oh, it just jumped on me. 1 second. Yeah, I think, there we go. Yeah, Devin's helping us out with the SMART goals. Thank you. Yeah. Simple, sensible, significant. I like it. You've got multiple words for each one in that kind of acronym there. That's great. Juan has a good question. Hey, if I don't have the income to publish 100 sites, I want to rank and work on the sites I have now and get cash in. What should I do? I saw some great answers already kind of in the comments about this, but this is where I would look at, okay, hey, you're an investor, an entrepreneur. If we look at traditional real estate as an example, one of our partners in one of the other co-founders of Snaps, Dan, he's an investor. He just exited a deal from a Dutch Brothers that he was in for years, where before they even broke ground, he had to fork out a lot of cash to go ahead and buy the rights to this Dutch Brothers, break ground, build the building before ever a single cup of coffee was sold. But now years later, once that thing was up and running, the business is cranking, it's getting customers, people are coming through, they're getting their coffee. Now you've got a real business that's generating revenue. You can flip and turn that for a profit. Now, if Dan didn't have any capital to outlay at the beginning, he could have either gone and borrowed it from somewhere else or scored it a different way. Obviously, having capital sitting there, being able to put it to work is really helpful and beneficial. We have the benefit in this particular business that the capital outlay is very, very minimal, very small. So a couple things. One, I would focus on what is the amount of both time and money on a monthly basis that you can invest into your business. There's obviously different things that you're investing to when you're investing in your business. You're investing into yourself, your own education. You're investing into assets. You're investing into tools, just kind of the cost of doing business. Your cell phone. We all pay for a cell phone, right? Like that's a cost of doing business. Whether make money or not, I got to pay the cell phone bill because I got to be able to call clients. I got to be able to text clients, right? So no matter what, there are going to be some of these fixed costs, and there's going to be some things I'm going to want to invest in to grow my business. So know what that is, but also focus on, if that is not, if you don't have enough there to be able to cover, a $15 a month website fee, and maybe, $5-10, whatever, for a phone number and a couple of these other little things, $12 for a domain. If you don't have the capital to be able to afford that, then you need to your focus needs to be going out and getting clients. You need to figure out, hey, how can I go create some quick capital to invest back into my business so that I can pour that into these assets? And, I speak from experience on this because I've been there. When I started one of my very first businesses, it was a wedding photography business. I literally had no equipment. I had been like a film photographer, like a hobbyist photographer. I'd received a film camera as a gift, but I literally downsized my whole life and moved into an RV and was literally living on the streets at the time. So I'd sold everything that I owned, but I was like, hey, I'm going to become a photographer. I didn't have a camera. So what did I do? Well, I went and I enrolled in a community college photo class, and with that class, I was able, I had enough money to be able to pay the 3 credits or whatever for that, and the $100 lab fee to get into that class. And then I was able to rent and check out the gear that I needed to, to go and take pictures. They would let you take 1 camera and 2 lenses every weekend. And so I knew I had a timeline. I had 4 months that I was in this course. And I was like, well, shoot, in these 4 months, I have these assets. I've got to use these assets to go out and create cash so I can buy my own camera, my own laptop, my own lenses and things so I can grow my business. You need to look at it exactly the same way. What are the resources and assets that you have right now that you can use for free or for little cost to go out there and get a client? Check out the training that I did just a few weeks ago. Someone can drop this in the link. Please tag Juan in it. But that fast cash web builds training. There's been plenty of people in the group and in Snaps who've gone out there and have used Snaps for free to go and build a preview website. You don't have to spend any money to do it. You can mock something up and you can go hustle. Now, if you're in this spot, you need to be hustling though. You're not doing, one mock-up site, a day and kind of noodling it here and there and kind of working. You need to be hammering these things out as quick as you can. You need to be doing 10, 15, 20 of these a day, getting out there, making lots of contacts so that you can bring some cash in the door to invest in your business. Because I'll tell you on my photography business, what I did was, again, I had that class. I had some of those resources at my disposal. The very first thing I did was I marketed the heck out of myself to everybody that I knew, friends, family, hey, do you know anybody that's getting married? I'm starting this photography business. And then I made an offer. I was like, hey, here's my offer. I will take free engagement photos of whoever is interested. You don't even have to book me. If they want to, great. If not, that's okay. Literally marketed my face off, talked to everybody. And you want to know how many engagement sessions I booked? I booked 2. But one of those actually ended up booking it. They loved the photos. They both said they loved the photos. One of them loved them enough to actually hire us to shoot their wedding. The other one didn't, but now I had work I could show on my website for a portfolio. That one client ended up booking us. I took that retainer, that deposit, and I put that right back into the business. I bought a camera body. I went and booked another gig. I bought a lens. I went and booked another gig. I bought a laptop. I went and booked another gig. I bought a photo gallery, a subscription, and on down the line. And then eventually I had all this money that kept coming in that I kept pouring back into assets and things to help me grow my business, that then I could start to take some money off the table. It's like, okay, now I have enough coming in on top of the cost of doing business to where I could actually pay my rent, feed my family. Now it's time for me. At that time I, killed my job. I was working in a cubicle at the time and went, full-time photo. No reason you can't do the exact same thing here. So get out there, hustle. You have more than enough people, team resources, and the like. One, I forget if you're on Teams or not. If you're not, you should be in Teams. It's too late to join this round of Teams because we're already, 2 days into it. But a team is exactly the kind of thing that can help kind of rally around you and give you some practical ideas on what you can do this week to generate some revenue so that you can join that Century Club. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Question, how do we get into AdSling? Very simple. If you've got at least 10 sites published on Snaps, or you're on the Decade Pack or higher, then just reach out to our support squad and let them know, hey, Gabriel said I can get a free light version of AdSling, and then we'll just check your account real quick, make sure that you meet those requirements, and then we'll send you out an invite to AdSling for free. So much more of a that's so much more of a definition for SMART goals than I've ever considered. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's wonderful. And yeah, Susan was mentioning this about Juan's question, but yeah, look at these. Someone can send them that link. That would be great. SEO services, or another reason, like, what skills do you have that you can use to turn into some quick cash to be able to invest into your business? How much is the membership feature for Snaps? 0. We're trying to add as many of these things into the platform as we possibly can for you guys at no extra cost, so we can kind of cut out some of the additional costs and things that you have, costs that you have for booking widgets, for things, if you're paying for like a Canva Pro, I know it's only like $7 a month, but if we can replace that with AdSling and save that there, like all this stuff is going to get replaced for you. Okay. Migrations are coming along great. We actually have a much more streamlined process now that we have our ticketing system in place. I know a lot of you were kind of excited to be migration specialists. That still is on the table. We've decided to push that a little further down the field, just for security and organization, like a number of different reasons. We're trying to keep a real tight wrap on this. So our internal migrations team is still handling 100% of migrations, but it's going really, really well. We've been handing off a lot more migrations. If you need an update on a migration request, please reach out to support and they will get you an answer on that. When people submit tickets, is it possible to read and learn from those questions that are submitted? Absolutely. That's one of the things that we are doing right now, is we're actually, as we're compiling these tickets, we're building a knowledge base of articles. So we already have a lot of really great stuff on our support blog. So let me pop this over here real quick, which is just support.snaps.ai. You can head over here to our support site and support blog and see things, like, how to add schema to your site. There's a lot of really great stuff here. But with the new support and ticketing system, we're actually very intentionally using that to build a knowledge base of articles to make sure that you can see the kinds of questions that people are asking, how they're using the platform, and how you could better use it. I kind of liken it a lot to like a Photoshop. In Photoshop, there are so many different tools. There's a million things that you could do in Photoshop, and most photographers, most editors, most graphic designers use a tool like Photoshop for like 5 or 6 things, and they know how to do those things really, really well, which I would encourage you to do the same with Snaps, with any of the tools that you got. Understand, what are the 20% of that platform that you really need to be a pro at to get the results out of. You don't want to spend all this time in there noodling and just, getting these sites pixel perfect if the goal is to generate leads and get clients. You need it to be good enough to generate leads and help your clients make money, so then that you make money. But with this kind of knowledge base and the things that we're building, you'll have access to all that to be able to see, hey, what are the parts that I'm missing? I think it was even just a couple of weeks ago, Andrew, who's on here with us, who I'd say is a pretty solid pro at building sites, has built a lot of sites himself. Wasn't aware that we had a copy and paste feature, inside that you could copy and paste rows, which, like, if I go in here to, we'll pop back into the AdSling website here real quick just to show you. But let's say, I'm in this site and I go over to, let's say, a page over here. Let's say I really like, this section right here with the pricing. I could click on this row and copy it and maybe take that to another page, right? I could take that over here to this page and just hover over this row and paste. And now I just copy and pasted that whole row, right? Like, super simple cheat code, simple feature, But if you don't know that it's there, you don't know that it's there. And so, yeah, this knowledge base, these lives are the place to learn all that good stuff. Okay. Create a listing site with geolocation system. I mean, people search for dentists near to him or her. Yeah, it's a great question. I would love to know who that is that's asking that. Go ahead and submit a ticket about that. We can get our developers on that, because yes, you absolutely can. It gives me some ideas actually for if you're talking about being able to access the location of your visitors specifically. It'd be very easy to do in terms of, building in search criteria. Let me pull up a site here real quick and show you what I mean. Because you can very easily add multiple locations to a site. So let's do this. Let me add this to stream. I'm just going to create a quick site here. So let's say I wanted to create a, let's say I have all these dance studios. So we'll click this dance studio template. And let's say I have dance studios all across the Clark County area. So I'm here in Clark County, which is the Las Vegas, Nevada area. You could go into content and business info and set up multiple locations. So let's say the first location is Las Vegas. Let me collapse this. Let's open this up. Let's say the second one is Henderson. And then let's go ahead and add another location. Let's say we want to add, Summerlin. So now I could have, 3 different locations. Each one of these locations can have separate business information, can have a separate phone number, email, social profiles, address, business hours, you name it. And you can do a lot of things with this. You could add these different business locations to various widgets on your site. You could obviously add it to like a blog or a locations page where, somebody could search, or you can give them a list, drop down list. And if they select that from the drop down, then that takes them through, to those specific locations pages. But that's probably how I would tackle it right out of the box. But in terms of, allowing access to, or requesting access of your visitors, kind of like geolocation, I love that idea. I think that's something that we could probably do with a little bit of dev work. And on that, we are planning on having kind of some custom apps, making it easy for you to build your own kind of custom apps inside of Snaps. But that's a little ways out. Okay. Juan says, that's how I got my first client mockup site from the training, but I wanted more input and information in a different way. Post in the group, Juan, and we'll give you some ideas. So share what you did, share what the results were, and what you think, what are some ideas you think might be missing. We can help you out with that. Any idea when we might get user management and Snaps? We want to be able to share a site with a VA, have them work for a few hours, and then unshare it. Yeah, absolutely. That's at the top of the roadmap right now. We actually do have a feed that we're going to be sharing here. Hopefully this month is the plan, to where you guys can see features that we're going to be rolling out, timelines, and then you'll be able to like upvote and downvote those. We don't have that available just yet. And I hate to give a specific date on these things until I know it's for certain. But Ryan, it is coming, especially for someone like yourself who's got so many sites published. Reach out to me personally. We'll take care of you. We'll figure something out, and actually would love if you're down to help us kind of test some of that stuff. I would love to get you in there specifically to help us test, because I know you've got a robust business that you're working with, and we want to make sure to take care of our people. Okay. Let's see. How do I transfer a site to my client? Let me show you. So at the current time, this is in beta, but if you head over to our support blog and just do a search for client management, and let me search the word beta. I know it's in there. There we go. Here it is. Collaborate with client. That's what it was. There was the word collaborate I was looking for. So it's this link right here. Explains what you can do to share a site with, or transfer a site rather, to your client. Let me drop the link here visually, but then if someone can put this into the chat, that would be great. Here's the link to that specific article. All that you would need to do is go ahead and read through this this page, and there's a form on the bottom of this page to submit a transfer request. So at the bottom here, you're just going to fill out this form, submit that transfer request, and then reach out to our support squad to let us know that you filled out this request. We just have a couple extra security steps to make sure that we can, verify that you are in fact the owner of that site and have the right to transfer that site to another user. And then essentially we just need to know the Snaps login for your client. So you would send your client to go register for a free Snaps account. We would see that on our end. We would see that you own the site, and then we would transfer it, remove it from your dashboard, put it in theirs. And then if that's the case too, if they are only going to have a single site, please just let us know so we can enable that single site license on their login. Again, that's $19 a month to publish a single site inside of Snaps. It's a lot more expensive for us to support a user that just has one site versus multiple sites, which is why you get those tiered discounts as you publish more within the platform. And our pricing is very competitive to the rest of the market. Okay, yeah, thank you to those of you that dropped that in there. Okay. All right. So if you've got any other questions, go ahead and pop those in now. If I missed any other questions, let's see. Can you not use duplicate checker to get the publish date? It looks like some people are asking about where can I find in Snaps the date published? So yeah, so Mira is saying, hey, where can I find in Snaps the date published? So let me show you actually really quick where you can kind of look at some of your own stats on these sites. So let's go back to the dashboard. And it's going to pull up my list of sites, and I'm going to look at one of the published sites and be able to look at the kind of stats and the overview here. So if we look at this AdSling site that we've been staring at, you click on these little three dots here and click on View Stats. It's going to take you through to the stats dashboard. And I believe, unless we moved it, that is going to give us the overview. Give me one sec here. You know what? I might be wrong on that. I know we were messing with the activity logs of this recently, where you can basically kind of see the updates of when a backup was created, when a site was originally published. The other place that you could look to would actually be in your, when you paid for that site. So when you publish a site, that's when you also pay for it. So you should have received an invoice with the date for that particular site as well too. So those are the places I would probably look. But curious why, important thing. I mean, we definitely want to know the date that we're publishing those sites. The one thing we can't fake is time. But continuing to push forward. If it's published, it's published. I wouldn't worry too much about it from there. Okay. Awesome. All right. So anybody else have any questions? If not, we'll cut it short tonight. I want to do a couple more giveaways. So again, we've got a whole month ahead of us, and I want to see a whole lot more activity going into the summer. The summer months tend to be interesting. You really start to see who the real players are and who's kind of like letting off the gas. And so I want to see, who is pushing the pedal to the metal this month to get some results done, and we're going to reward that. So I've got a couple here. I'm going to do another giveaway to Chima and Alex. I know they are actually partners. They're smart. They've kind of partnered up on this thing, and they just cracked Century Club as well too. I think they're somewhere at like 108. We're actually going to get a leaderboard going here pretty soon, so you're gonna be able to see, who's out there in the running with the most sites, and then also obviously who's publishing more sites. So we'll get that up here ASAP and kind of make a game out of it. Would love to see who's there. But yeah, we'll Chima and Alex, we're gonna get you guys cheat codes too. Yeah, absolutely, Susan. Glad you find it helpful. And yeah, fresh month. I love Mondays. I love the first of each month. Honestly, I love each morning because it's always kind of a fresh start to keep things rolling. We're gonna go with Lewis. Also, Lewis Vandervalk. Looks like you got have some momentum going in the month. I see a bunch of sites published there. So Lewis, we're gonna get you cheat codes as well. And then do me a favor, if you don't have cheat codes and you would like a copy, I'm going to do some giveaways to some of you in the chat, and I'm also going to look at the publish logs here again and see maybe the last 5 or 6 people that have published. Other than we decided to do it with Joshua, but we're gonna give a couple more away. So let's see who else we got. All right, who is this? Let's see. All right, yeah, we got Heed 1982. So we're going to give you a copy of cheat codes. We also have, who else do we got? We got Austin Benesh. Not surprised to see Ryan's name in here. Ryan, we got you. And then we've got one more cheat codes I'm going to give away. Looks like, I think this is Jen Moyer. It's getting pretty close, kind of up and coming, getting close to that 20 site mark, which is pretty exciting. All right, let me go back here in the chat and see what else we got. Showing some leg. All right, Chris, we got you. Chris Brayteen, we'll hook you up. And Thomas Owen, seen some stuff coming through here. I think Lee too. Lee, I know you're making a lot of progress. So Lee, oh wait, you already got the cheat codes. Okay, cool, awesome. Lee, if you only have Brad's stuff, we'll hook you up with the rest of them. So we got Thomas, Chris, and Lee. Let me just write this down, and I will make sure to hook you guys up with that. There's some really incredible, some incredible kind of workflows and process that are there in cheat codes. Again, it's not publicly available. We might end up putting that back out for sale at some point here with the new LMS that we have coming out. But for the time being, it is kind of a VIP thing that only a handful got that were a part of our event last year. And I can tell you, for those of you that have it, and those of you that just got it, that just got gifted it and won it, yes, pay attention to the cheat codes that are in those trainings as to like what, the step-by-step that Brad has for going and writing copy, the step-by-steps that I share on how to kind of fractionalize some leads. I talk about a strategy called wholesale lead gen, which if you're at all familiar with real estate, what wholesaling real estate looks like, I show you how you can actually generate revenue, like to what something. In fact, I'm going to give this to Juan too. Juan, I'm going to hook you up with cheat codes because I think this could help. This specific hack that I'm talking about, wholesale lead gen. The whole idea is, how do you go out there and get a client when you don't even have a lead gen up yet? And I'm not talking about pre-selling lead gen, because a lot of people are like, hey, how do I go out and pre-sell a lead gen? You haven't even created a result for the client yet. So how are you going to go? I mean, I'm not against it. If you can do it and you can produce the results, I'm all for it. But what I'd much rather see is you actually bring clients to the table. And that's what wholesale lead gen is all about. So I share that cheat code or I share that kind of hack for you. Oh, it might cut out for a second. Where you can actually go and kind of, in a sense, be a broker. Go find someone that already has traffic. Go find someone that needs traffic. Put those two people together. Take your little sliver to deliver. Now you have some money to invest into your business. Okay. So, unless I missed any final questions, what did we just learn about the power of showing some leg? Hey, there's always some power in showing some leg, Chris. Absolutely. Someone's asking, okay, I built a site in English, then added multi-language translation in Spanish. Do I have to make changes in both versions? No, yeah, just edit in the main version, and then Snaps will automatically update those additional versions for you. So if it's English by default, just edit the English site, and then Google Translate should automatically be translating for you. If you need to make some edits, you can, but as you update the site, you should be good to go. You shouldn't have to make any changes there. Let's see here. When will the next rounds of teams be? I have my 100 due diligence, but missed the last slot. Thank you. Also, my DD is in Google. Yeah, Google Docs is totally fine. We will have a new round of teams here, hopefully before the end of the month. Those of you that are in teams right now this week, hopefully you did your intervals for today. Otherwise, I'd say you shouldn't be on here because we were doing some serious work this week, but the next round will be up in the next week or two. We got a lot of work to do. There's some players that just showed up here at the house. We got Ipe in the house. We got Tyler Metcalf in the house. Eddie and Lex, who you guys are going to get to meet. Ryan Escalera, some other players. There's a big crew. We got a lot of work. I think tonight's going to be a late night because we are excited about putting some things together for all of you to help you get the results that you need to see in your businesses. And yeah, love hearing that, Ethan, that Teams is great. And yeah, I agree. Sorry that you missed around. Don't miss the next round of Teams. If you're not on Teams, if you don't know what Teams are, make sure you get your 100 due diligence done and in. If you don't know what that is, post in the comments. Someone will let you know because getting around a like-minded group of peers that's going to help you make it through your goals. The beginning of this live, we talked about how many sites, how many assets, how many shoes on the shelf did you get up last month? How many are you going to get up this month? What's your goal? That group of peers is going to be so important. It's why you need to keep coming back to these Tuesday and Thursday lives. It's why you need some people that can hold you accountable, that when you say you're going to, do 12 sites this month and you're halfway through the month and you only have 2 up, they're going to hold your feet to the fire and say, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to cut out so that you can actually get back on track? Like Susan was saying, hey, to hit my 3-month goal, I got to do 12 this month. Okay, how many you got to do this week? How many you got to do today to get it done? So go ahead and make sure that you're leaning in, showing up. We're going to continue showing up for you. Every once in a while, we'll have some giveaways and some free stuff to give away. They'll hopefully get you over the edge, but hopefully you guys got some value out of this. And yeah, we will see you throughout the rest of the week. See you on Thursday. And with that, keep working, keep publishing, keep hustling. That's all that you can do. Put one step in front of the other, know where you're going, and take activity every day towards it to get there. All right, you guys, we'll see you.